And we are live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. If you're wondering who the pretty lady is on the screen, she is none other than one of your wonderful Feel Fabulous moderators, Beth Fellow. We got so much good feedback for the session that we did with Tammy. So we decided that once a month we would do some success stories so that we could touch, move, and inspire you, especially people that are either struggling or thinking of giving up, because Beth has a great story that she's going to share from you. Look at all the people that are on. It goes so fast. Jem from New Jersey. We know Roz from Austin for sure. Terry, Christine from, I've never heard of La Grande, California. Maria from Tampa. Sharon from New Jersey. Lynn from Minneapolis. Or Mary Tyler Moore, that was where she was from. We all know Zena from Huntington Beach. We're trying to get Zena to do one of these too, but she go first. I was not any more higher. Oh, Desert Hot Springs. Cindy, how you doing? I told Cindy Desert Hot Springs was too far from me. Irma, Jan, Terry, Deborah, Beth. There's another Beth on. Evelyn from Toronto. Jan from Central Coast. That's kind of, where's that? San Luis Obispo, maybe? Cincinnati, Diane, Tony, Julie, Terry, another Julie, Diane. Oh, Deborah Chan. Deborah Chan is awesome. She posts pictures from, she's like, where's Waldo, except as where's Deborah, from all over the world. Janice and Sue and Angela, Collie and Kat. I could go on and on. Okay, but without further ado, if you guys have questions, you can type them in because I can monitor this. So Angela, well, that's a great dressing. That's a great question, Angela. I'm going to ask it to Beth, but first I'm going to have her share her story, and she's got some great pictures to go with it, and she is truly a superstar, which is why I'm wearing this hat. So thank you so much for doing this, Beth, and tell us a little bit about your journey through becoming the beautiful, vibrant, slender woman you are today, because I knew you back when.
Yes, you did. So I have fought with my weight pretty much my whole adult life. My parents were very overweight. They had a lot of health issues due to their weight. I remember I started Weight Watchers for the first time when I was in my early 20s. And that started me on this kind of yo-yo of going to Weight Watchers, regaining the weight, going to Weight Watchers, losing a little less each time, and regaining a little more each time. I also tried things like Protein Power, South Beach Diet. I tried walking off the weight. I walked 6 miles a day every day until I got plantar fasciitis, and I had to stop walking altogether for a while. So a lot of different things I tried for my weight. I also had issues with migraines, and they were very severe, debilitating migraines. Started in my 20s, got worse and worse every year. I went to the doctor. We tried all kinds of tests to see what might be causing them. We tried a lot of preventative medicines. Nothing worked, or if it worked, it only worked for a while, or it had really bad side effects. And that affected my life in huge ways. It really hurt me as far as my work schedule. I was calling in sick a lot. I was getting talked to by my boss, which is scary. I couldn't do things like go to loud movies or, action movies, things with lots of noise and light flashing and things, because I'd get a migraine. I couldn't mow the lawn. I couldn't vacuum. I couldn't blow my hair dry without getting a migraine. Going to parties was great because I would have a good time. I would enjoy visiting with my friends, but then the next day I'd get a migraine. So it really cut into my social life and just my life in general. So, I had a lot of different things going on with the weight and with the migraines. So what happened with the weight loss part of this is that the last time I did Weight Watchers, maybe my 7th time around, I was so hungry. I felt like the bone marrow was starving in my bones. Like I had this huge empty cavity inside. And I just thought, I can't live like that. I can't. It's not sustainable. I'm unhappy, to be that hungry all the time. And it can't be right for your body to be this way. And I just thought, maybe I'm different than other people. Maybe there's something wrong with me or something different about me that I just need more food than other people do in order to be full and satisfied. So I thought, I'm just going to have to get used to being heavy and just settle in like this and try to just be content and just live my life. And so that's kind of where I was at before I started UWL.
And so when was that? I met you, I think, was it 2015?
Yeah, 2015 is when I joined. And then 2016 is when I went down to California. So for the first UWL live that I went to.
Right.
So
the second one, and you live in Washington.
Yes, yeah, in Spokane. So someone in one of my walking groups online, someone mentioned Dr. McDougall and sent me a newsletter about Dr. McDougall, telling me that he might be able to help with my migraines. And she sent me a success story of someone who ate plant-based. And so I started trying to eat plant-based around 2012, following Dr. McDougall on the boards, that kind of thing. And I would do well for a while. I mean, I would lose a little bit of weight. My migraines would start to stabilize a little bit. I would start to feel good. And then I would slip off plan again. I'd be back eating the same old things, regaining the weight, migraines coming back, the whole thing. I just couldn't stick with it. And then I remember one of the things that people would share recipes from you, from Chef AJ. And so I would watch your recipes and I enjoyed watching them. And then all of a sudden, one time I saw one of your videos and you had lost a whole bunch of weight. And I was like, what in the world? What happened? And so I Googled, how did Chef AJ lose weight? And so I found a bunch of blog posts kind of explaining your program. I found your website. And on your website, you have got, under the Ultimate Weight Loss tab, there's a thing of 3 videos, The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss. And you share all the information for free in those 3 short videos on what you need to do. And I just watched those over and over and over again. I took notes. There's another video on the front page of your website called Simple Meals to Make You Thin or something like that. And I mean, it's like for the first time I felt like some hope, like something might work for me. And one of the things that was a big deal for me, and it seems so simple, when you ask people what was the thing that really helped them the most, and what was different from you from the Dr. McDougall program, is in his maximum weight loss program, he has the thing where he says, make 50% of your plate vegetables. And to me, I didn't understand that. I didn't know how to cook vegetables. I didn't like vegetables. I didn't eat vegetables. And that was just really vague for me. But in your thing, you said, make it a goal every day to get 2 pounds of vegetables per day, minimum. And for me, somehow having a number, like a goal for me to go for, made such a huge difference. It made it easier for me. It was like, oh, okay, I've got a goal, so I can check that off. If I've done that, I know I'm working the program. And so that somehow just really helped me, just having that one simple rule. That was a big deal.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, basically UWL is McDougall MWL, but it was with a support. I mean, I never claimed to have invented calorie density. I just created a system where I could teach it to people that wanted to learn it and support them. And then the little glitch, the little thing about the vegetables being emphasized, which I found out by accident, were cravings busters. I didn't know that. It was that just those thylakoids were like, this is perfect for people that struggle with sugar and flour addiction. This is just like gold, you know?
Well, and on the Dr. McDougall program, you know, they do have whole wheat flour is okay and stuff like that. And so I would just have these huge, I'd make pots of pasta like the size for a family. And I'd eat a huge heaping plate of pasta. And then later in the evening, I'd go back and eat some more. And I'd go back and eat some more till I ate this whole pot of pasta by the end of the night. It didn't fill me up. And I didn't know it, but it has addictive qualities. And so it was like creating cravings where I was wanting more and more food. So I think that was another, you know, big difference between the 2 programs.
Right. And his program is great. And by the way, I love him dearly. I consider him a mentor. I'm going to be speaking with him at a conference in November, if anybody wants to go, in Washington. And I think if the whole world would just do McDougall, we would be in such a better place. But for some of the people, he casts a very wide net. And I hate to use this analogy because I don't like fishing, but if you think of a fisherman, they throw this net in the water and they catch a lot of things. But there are some fish that just will slip through the net. And those are people that are us, that are sensitive to the sugar flours, that I define as people that have a sensitivity to refined carbohydrates. And so for us, the Ezekiel bread, the tortillas, the chips, the crackers, even though they may be fat-free and won't create heart disease, for us, they won't create weight loss and they will perpetuate cravings. And so that's the only distinction. Yeah.
And I mean, I love Dr. McDougall, and I couldn't have done this without him. I learned so much from him, and I appreciate him very much, but I just felt like a failed McDougaller because I couldn't seem to stick to it. So, and one of the other things I want to mention is that I hated vegetables so much that when I moved out of my parents' house, I promised myself I will never eat vegetables again. I didn't, for probably 25 years, I didn't eat vegetables. And I never liked meat that much. And so the only time I would eat it was at restaurants. But so basically, I lived on pasta and cheese. I ate, lasagna, fettuccine, macaroni and cheese, lasagna, pizza. I mean, anything covered in cheese. And so I would go to the store to go grocery shopping. And since I didn't really cook, I would just pile it high with all of these frozen dinners of all those same things, lasagna and pizza and, whatever, then granola bars and Diet Coke. And that's what I lived on for 25 something years. So it's kind of no wonder that I had the migraines as bad as I did.
Yeah. So are you migraine free now?
Yes. So about 8 months after I got really serious about UWL, I basically stopped taking all my prescription medications for migraines. And I haven't taken any now in over 2.5 years.
That's amazing. Because I used to suffer with those too. And once I gave up, like you say, the caffeine and the chocolate, I didn't have to take the medicine anymore. And it's such freedom. It's not just the freedom from the excess weight, but like you say, migraines are absolutely debilitating. Absolutely. You can't even, so congratulations. So you hate vegetables, or you hated vegetables. And I see behind you an air fryer, a Breville air fryer. I see balsamic vinegar. I see an Instant Pot. How are you right now with the vegetables?
Well, now I love vegetables, so I'm proof that your tastes really do change. I really crave my vegetables now every day, usually first thing in the morning. If I don't get them in, I'm wanting them, soon. By the time I get home, if I had to run out and do something first, it's really no issue at all to get 1 or 2 pounds of vegetables easily. And a lot of times I'm eating more than that.
That's amazing. How long may I ask, how much weight did you lose and how long did it take you? And we'd love to see some of your before photos.
I lost about 85 pounds total, and I have maintained it now for 1.5 years. My original goal was 128, and I'm maintaining just below that, around 124, 123, something like that. I do have some pictures.
And it didn't take you a month to lose it, right?
No. So, okay. So
everybody complains when they don't.
No, it was slow. And I'm one of those people that doesn't learn right away the first time. So I joined UWL in 2015 in May or June. I did it really, really strong for 4 or 5 months. I lost some weight, did great. Then some family things came up that got in the way, and I got distracted. I stopped eating this way for about 9 or 10 months. I was completely off the program. And like I was telling you earlier, I stopped my notifications from the group, so I didn't even see anything from UWL for all that time. And I just got to thinking, oh, that was so restrictive. I can't go back to that. I can't do that. So I regained a bunch of the weight. My migraines came back stronger than ever. And so what happened, I got to a point where and this sounds really melodramatic, but I felt like I was dying. It's like I had no energy, even breathing in and out. I was like, I have barely enough energy to breathe. I was just so exhausted all the time and suffering from migraines. And so I was looking online for like some kind of coaching where I could go in person here in Spokane. And there was some plant-based people that had coaching where they would teach you exercise programs and teach you what to eat. And it was between $3,000 and $5,000 for between 12 to 16-week program. And right about then, this was around June 2016, I got an email from you. I was still on your email list. And it said, we're having the UWL live conference in California, and it was like 1 month away. And I thought, wow.
Like $100 or $100.
Yeah. And I thought, if I spend the money on the tickets for that, the airfare, the hotel, the rental car, it's still less than that coaching thing I was going to do. Yeah. And so I went to my first UWL live conference.
Well, I remember you from that.
Yep.
Yeah, there was only about 150 people that year. It was our second year. Yeah.
I was in the front row.
Yep.
And it made such a huge difference. And one of the reasons it made a huge difference is because even though I'd been in the group for a long time, I had never watched any of JP's videos at all because I didn't know who he was. I joined for you, basically. I knew who you were. So I didn't listen to JP. Whenever they'd have Dr. Lyle on, I wouldn't listen to him because we love Dr. Lyle, but he's a little slow to get to the point. And so, I really didn't listen to him. I'd be like, oh, I don't have time for this, Yeah. So when I was there at the conference, I'm in the front row. I couldn't just get up and leave when JP got up or when Dr. Lyle got up. And so I was stuck sitting there. And then I'm about halfway through both their talks. I'm like, oh, wow, these guys are really smart. They've really got something to offer. And so I felt terrible that I'd been ignoring them all that time. I really learned a lot from both of them. And so it made a huge difference. After that conference, I was just I was committed, no going back. And I've been committed, ever since.
Right. And that's why we do it. And I don't know if I should even announce this now, but we are going to do a Feel Fab. We're going to, we're doing it. I just, maybe May, maybe Palm Springs, but guys, you'll be the first to know we want to do a Feel Fabulous conference for the group. I mean, the principles will still be the same in some of the speakers, but that's what we want to do. I don't wish you or anyone migraines or any illness, but whoa, oh my gosh. Oh boy. Don't take this wrong. You look dowdy there. Dowdy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I believe it.
And
because when I was heavy, I was like, if it fits, I bought it. I didn't care what it looked like. I didn't wear makeup. I didn't do my hair. I was like, why bother? Nothing's going to make me look better.
You go back to the one where you have a double chin because that's unbelievable.
This one?
Yeah. I mean, even your skin looks better now. I mean, I can basically say it's the same person. I can see there's a resemblance, but that's unbelievable. I hope that's on your phone. And your hair is fabulous now too. Guys,
well, it's Chef AJ hair, so
I love it. Guys, what do you think of the transformation? You must feel so proud of yourself. I mean, like now.
I guess I do. I'm just happy, I guess. I'm not as necessarily proud, but just happy it worked. And because it was slow, it was not fast at all. You think, is this going to work? Every step along the way, I think, well, I've lost a few pounds. Am I going to lose any more? Probably not. But I just kept going and trusting the process, like Dr. Lyle says. And that was one of the biggest things I got from him was this is going to be slow. Just trust the process. Just keep doing it. It's going to work.
That's why we have to have your story out there because people don't seem to forget mine that it took me 27 months to lose my, they see the end result and they want to, Cynthia says, Beth looks wonderful. What can you say? Exclamation. Jessica from NorCal wanted to know what type of vegetables do you eat for breakfast? And Angela says she's spectacular. Angela came from a McDougall background too. And Angela wasn't even that overweight. She gave her testimonial in Vegas and, people say, oh, you only lost 40 pounds. Well, that's kind of a lot. That's like what a person weighs, a small person, a child. But she feels so much better because the same. Yeah. So what kind of vegetables the Beth eats for breakfast?
So when I started, I did the easy vegetables. And I actually made a mistake when I started. I started with frozen cauliflower or frozen broccoli and eating a pound of that before I go to work. And, when you're not used to that, you can have some real problems. And I ended up being so sick at work, I had to go home. I was like so sick that I blacked out. My stomach was so tight and so, upset. So I learned my lesson. I didn't eat cruciferous vegetables for probably 5 months after that.
Wow.
I just avoided them. So when I started, I ate the easy veggies like baby zucchini. I would slice it and I would microwave it, or I do baby zucchini with some baby carrots and microwave those, maybe put some onion and garlic powder on them. So I did really easy things, or I would do a pound of frozen veggies, maybe the stir fry type veggies, and I would put a tablespoon of balsamic and a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, mix that in, made them taste really good, kind of following your Brussels sprout recipe. But now you had a thing, this is probably a year and a half ago now, where you had a thing for 14 days, a challenge to eat greens for breakfast. Yeah. And so I really do like the 1 pound of frozen spinach. I'll microwave it. And then I'll have some garlic powder and some balsamic on it and some ground flaxseed sometimes. Yeah. So
I just think of greens as medicine. It's, I don't even, I always hear you don't have to like it. You just have to do it. If you do it, you'll learn to like it. When you see the results, you'll really like it, Yeah.
And so this took me about 3 years to lose the weight altogether, counting that 10 months I took off the program.
But I'm pretty sure I think you're done now. I think this is permanent. Your permanent solution, Yes. And Karen wants to know what does a typical day of eating look like?
So I get up and I have my veggies for breakfast first thing. And, usually a pound of veggies. Occasionally it'll be a pound and a half if I'm doing roasted veggies because they're so yummy. And then, maybe an hour later, I'll have some oatmeal with fruit, or I'll have some leftovers from dinner the night before, or, just whatever I have, maybe sweet potato or something. I don't always have that second breakfast. It just depends on my schedule and how hungry I am. And then I'll have lunch. And a lot of times with lunch, I don't have a lot of veggies. I might have just a little bit of something, and then I'm going to have a starch. And a lot of times it's really easy. It's either like rice with some chili over the top, or potatoes, air fried potatoes or something. And same for supper. Usually I have the same thing for lunch and supper. I just keep it really simple. And
I find that all the people, at least that I know, that have been very successful like you, do keep it simple. It's one of the, I call it one of the 10 commandments of weight loss. It's in my book because Mary has asked, what is UWL? So I'll just briefly tell her that it stands for the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, which is a program I started teaching live in Los Angeles in 2012. And then when people were posting their pictures on Facebook and seeing results, people asked if I could do it online. So I started teaching it online a little over 5 years ago with a fitness guru named John Pierre. And I wrote a book called The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss. And so that's what Beth is referring to. Diane says, hello from Brooklyn. You look fabulous, a real inspiration, along with Chef AJ. Thanks for the baby vegetable info. Yeah, I always tell people that, if you hate vegetables, just eat the one you hate the least. Most people don't really hate cherry tomatoes or cucumbers, which are technically fruit, but there's got to be something. Start somewhere. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if I have Karen wants to know if you exercise.
I don't exercise really. I didn't exercise much the whole time I was losing weight, and I still kind of struggle with this. I've got my Fitbit. I average about 10,000 steps a day. On days that I work, I get 13,000. On days I don't work, it's more like 7. So it averages out. What I find is in the winter, for some reason, I get to the gym pretty regular, like twice a week, and I'll do treadmill and I'll do the weights. But during the summer, it seems like I don't really do it that much. So, it really shows it's the food.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good to have movement, and we're going to be having Dr. Frank Sabatino talk to us next month, and he's a real proponent of movement for reasons other than weight loss. But I like that you said that because people can be inspired if they absolutely refuse to exercise, or maybe they're in a position, sometimes they can't. I couldn't see the cool thing about me is I had just broken my knee when I got serious. That's why I wanted to finally lose weight, because I didn't want my husband to have to be taken care of, as Dr. Goldhammer. I didn't want him wiping my ass. And I couldn't take care of my needs when I was in the wheelchair. So I couldn't exercise for a couple of years, and I still lost weight. And then I pretty much lost all my weight except for the last 3 pounds when I finally started to exercise, more for mental health issues, for decreasing anxiety, things like that. So, but it's in a way, it's good that you could do this without exercise. So you're not afraid of starch, are you?
Not at all. No, I eat a lot of starch. I eat really large servings of starch.
Me too. So, I eat, like, I'm not kidding, like a serving is somebody, I don't remember if it was Facebook or Instagram or somewhere where I was just posting, and somebody said, well, do you eat more than one potato? I said, I eat like 2 pounds is the serving for me, or I'm going to be hungry, So has your plantar fasciitis gone away? Jessica would like to know.
Yeah, I haven't really had any issues with it at all recently. I don't know if it's cured or, if I might get a flare up, but it's been fine. Yeah. I do exercise enough that, it hasn't come back. So, yeah.
It's amazing what can heal, in addition to just the weight loss being a wonderful side effect of eating this way. Hopefully I'll have Shada on one day, and Shada was in a boot. She couldn't even exercise at all the whole time she started her weight loss journey. And she was told by 4 surgeons she needed tendon surgery, and it healed. It's amazing what I always think of Dr. Greger saying, is there nothing that kale cannot do?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're so inspirational. Lisa wants to know if you eat chopped salads.
I do. And I fought that for a long time. I did not eat any chopped salads while I was losing weight. I ate only cooked vegetables for the most part, the whole time until I got to goal. But I've really found now that I'm in maintenance, it's really helped me a lot. And I got the Holland Bowl.
Oh, what did you get for your inscription?
It just says Beth's Kitchen. It's not too imaginative. Another thing I use is this little spinner that I got on Amazon. It's called a Xylus spinner. It holds about 3 cups of food. And that thing is wonderful for chopping up vegetables really quickly. But chopped salad, it really fills you up. And usually for me, I'll make a really large chopped salad in the morning. I'll have it for breakfast. And then I've got probably a 3-cup container that I'll have later in the day between lunch and supper or right before supper to kind of spread it out. It really does cut the cravings, and it really fills you up. And the days that I eat the chopped salad, I don't have any kind of second breakfast. That totally fills me up until lunchtime. Really
Yeah,
keeps you going.
absolutely. So we have some salad dressing questions. Uh, Angela wants to know, what are some great store-bought or online SOS-free dressings that are non-balsamic vinegar based? I'll let you go first, and then I'll give my own take on that.
So I don't buy store-bought dressings at all. So I'm kind of the wrong person to ask. I either do a bit of lime juice and maybe some spices like some chili powder and garlic powder. And I usually do add balsamic vinegar. I do like, a little bit. It really helps to add fruit to your salad.
That's true.
So, I mean, that's just some suggestions that I have is
Right. I don't know any store-bought ones that are truly SOS free. I know that Forks Over Knives sells them, and they're expensive not because of the shipping, because of the glass, but they're either balsamic based or they're tahini based, which is high fat. A lot of people just use hummus as salad dressing, hummus or
yeah.
thinned out hummus or salsa. So yeah, I think without the vinegar, you're not that you're more limited, but I agree with you. When you guys, I have a video. I'll have somebody post it in the group where I show the 7 secrets to superior salad satisfaction, and having a variety of things in your salad, and fruit, of course, is one of them. Sometimes when you put fruit on a salad, like pineapple or mango, you almost don't even need dressing. So that Jessica's saying she loves hummus, and Joanne wants to know what you put in your chopped salads.
So I start with close to a pound of greens. Usually spinach is my favorite. Sometimes I'll do romaine lettuce. Sometimes I'll do that cruciferous crunch you get from Trader Joe's. It's got a real mixture in it. Another thing I really like that's super easy is I'll buy those pre-bagged bags of coleslaw, where it's the shredded cabbage, and then I'll get the pre-shredded bag of carrots, and I'll mix those two together. And then I'll add my other veggies, whether it's going to be maybe some celery that I've chopped in my little chopper here, or some raw zucchini goes really good in a salad. I really like the little sweet peppers, the red and yellow sweet peppers. I usually add apple, grated apple. If I have other fruit, I'll add that. Sometimes some cherry tomatoes. Yeah, I usually keep it simple, maybe like 4 different things at a time.
Yep. Terry's saying red grapefruit is great. I agree. Like a little fruit, whether it's grapes or berries, so good to mix that. So we have a question from Karen. Are you strict about keeping your environment clean? That's a great question, Karen.
I am strict. I don't have anything in the house that's not that's to the right of the red line, basically. Other than I have some raisins that I use in recipes, but I mean I don't have any oil at all in the house. No cheese, no dairy, no animal products. So yeah, I'm really strict with that.
That's great. That is another success secret for lots of people. Lisa's saying balsamic's too sweet for her, so she adds apple cider or another type of vinegar to cut the sweetness. And not all balsamic vinegar is sweet, guys. The one that we like California balsamic or Napa Valley Naturals, that's reduced, so it's 4% acidity. But if you try a traditional balsamic, 6%, it's really, really not. It's really not that sweet. So okay, and you wanted a non-balsamic in Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss. If you look in the Member Center, there's a roasted onion garlic ranch. You might like that dressing. And I have one strawberry fiesta dressing. So those are both non-balsamic based. So we have some questions on loose skin from Julie. Let me roll down to see where it is. Okay. It's good. Okay, so Julie, you may not know the answer to this, but I guess I'll read her question. But first, do you have loose skin? And I'll tell too if I have loose skin.
I do have loose skin. Yes,
Yeah.
I have it under my arms. You can see them waving, and around my abdomen area. So yeah, it hasn't gone away.
Right, and I have loose skin on my abdomen too. Like if I were to wear like a tank top or a shorty, like a jog bra and yoga and do a plank, it's like it goes. Like there's like this being in my thighs and my buttocks. I don't know. I didn't get it in my arms, but so yes, that is a side effect. As Julie is saying, she lost 85 pounds in the last year. Well, that's terrific. I feel very good about that. I work out 4 to 5 days a week, but I'm mortified with all my loose skin. I just don't feel this has been addressed. At 61, the skin is not snapping back, and now feel as much shame about aging 10 years in the year as I did when I was much heavier. I am not okay with learning to live with this. I spoke to Dr. Lyle about this, and he spoke about researching surgery out of the country. Do you know anything about places where I could research this? I feel like the elephant in the room, which is what I feel like with my skin. Okay, so I'm glad that you spoke to Dr. Lyle, and you might want to speak to him again, and also speak to Dr. Goldhammer, because Dr. Goldhammer could, because I looked into the surgeries actually, and Dr. Goldhammer actually convinced me not to have any of them. But I'm going to tell you about some of the procedures that may help. But you know, here's the thing, Julie. You say you live near San Francisco, which is a big city, which is good. I'm assuming that San Francisco is similar to Los Angeles and where I live now in Palm Springs, where anybody that does cosmetic surgery does free consults. That's at least how it was in LA, because I had consultations there, and I recently had a consultation here. And so if they're not free, then they're often not as expensive as, like, you know, seeing a doctor would be, and often they will credit that towards your surgery if you have it. But I would definitely research this online, but also talk to people that had the procedure, because everybody that I've known that has had skin surgery ultimately was very happy, but they were very miserable while they were healing. It hurts a lot. I don't know if you've ever seen a show on TLC called Skin Tight, which is a plastic surgery show, and that you can have these surgeries done. Skin, unfortunately, doesn't stretch back. The only people I know that have lost a great deal of weight, meaning 40 pounds or more, and whose skin didn't show, were people that were chronic exercisers. So people that had built muscle under that skin were able to not have the kind of things we had now. So to me, I look at this as like my battle scars, you know, like I'm proud of the fact that I did this. Only 2% of people that lose weight ever keep it off more than 2 years. And so since I don't have any plans to pose for Playboy in the near future, I work around it. So the parts that bother me, which is my buttocks and my thighs, when I wear a bathing suit, I get the cute kind of skirt bathing suit, you know? So just know that plastic surgery is very expensive. Insurance doesn't pay. There are risks. I've known a lot of people that have had it that have gotten really serious infections and almost died. And it's very painful, and the healing is very slow. You will be wearing something like a Spanx, a full body Spanx, for a very, very long time. And a lot of the doctors I know won't do it until you have maintained that weight loss for at least 2 years, because if you have that surgery and gain the weight back, it's really, really bad. I will look into seeing if I can find an expert. Maybe, you know, it's very hard to get Garth Davis to do an interview, but he's a bariatric surgeon, which means he might also do that surgery, or I'll see if I can find somebody to talk about it. But there are other procedures now that are non-surgical. One is called VeloShape, where they wrap your legs and they heat them, and they have some skin tightening things. So I would look into some of the non-invasive ones first. So she's saying if it's battle scars, then I look like a warrior. Well, that's cute. So make sure you research your doctors very, very thoroughly. But I would start with getting consultations, and I would also work with Dr. Lyle just to see, you know, if you can accept yourself and love yourself where you are. I mean, there's ways to dress where they have clothing now. For example, I live where it's hot, so I'm wearing sleeveless. But San Francisco, well, what do they say? The coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. So it's not that hot there. They have these things now, because you mentioned your arms, Beth. If it bothers you, you're wearing long sleeves, but they have this thing now that, like, it's almost like a bra for your arm, and you wear it. It's really cool. Like, and it makes it so that if you wear like a tighter shirt, so there's lots of adaptive clothing now. So that's what I would say. So Jessica is saying, and she's saying researching it out of the country. There have been shows where people that have done it out of the country have had some have had good results for less money, but there have been people, I can't remember what's the name of NBC. There's Megan somebody that has a talk show. They interviewed people that went to this clinic in Mexico, and they all pretty much almost died. So I would be really, really careful doing it out of the country. It's scary enough doing it in this country. And Jessica's recommending something on Netflix called Embarrassing Bodies. So, okay. But do build as much muscle as you can underneath if you can. So did you ever think you were going to be a success story, or you were just plodding along thinking maybe this isn't going to be for me? You know?
I really did not think it was going to happen. I didn't believe it all the way along. I mean, I had lost a certain amount eating plant-based, but regained it all. And so when I started this, I got down to how much I had lost doing the plant-based. And I thought, well, this is probably as much as I'm going to lose because this is what I lost the first time I did plant-based dieting. And then I got down to the most I'd ever lost on Weight Watchers. And then I got down to my goal. And then I even was able to get even lower than my goal.
Wow.
It's just every step of the way, I kept thinking, okay, I'm done now. I'm not going to, but I just kept doing the program and it just keeps working. So
that's the coolest thing. So what has the response been for the people that are close to you, friends and family? Because, when you lose weight slowly, they don't always like necessarily, notice right away. When people have a lot of weight to lose, that's why it's so important that we have Dr. Lyle on every month. That he talks about the self-esteem and those quiet, the quiet voice of the internal audience, because if somebody has 100 pounds to lose and you're only losing 2 ounces of fat a day, being diligent, nobody's going to notice. Even you're not going to notice.
Yeah.
Right away. So you have to have something else to keep you going. So what was it like for your experience with friends and families and coworkers?
I've had really positive experiences. I mean, people have really noticed. Quite often they come to me now for advice on, what should I do to lose weight? How did you lose weight? What did you do? As I got to goal weight, some people who had known me when I was heavier said, oh, you've lost too much. You've got to stop now. You might get sick or, things like that because they're not used to seeing you at a healthy weight. But yeah, I've had some success with helping some of my friends. I had one of my friends who's lost 50 pounds eating this way. And another friend who started about a year ago has lost close to 50 pounds. A couple of friends of mine, a married couple, I kind of sent them emails every day for, I think it was around 8 or 9 weeks. And he was able to bring his A1C level down enough that his doctor told him he didn't have to take his diabetes meds anymore. So, I mean, I'm really happy my friends have been real supportive of this. And so that's really helped a lot.
That's amazing. Don't you love going to get clothes now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's great. I mean, I can go into any store and know that things are going to fit. I can just put them on, they're going to fit, or I can order online and know the things are going to fit. And
that was
a huge difference.
There was one day I never, you finally realize you're thin when, and I remember my husband and I were attending, it was actually my father-in-law's funeral. And when you go to a funeral, you're kind of like, okay, you just go. You don't really think about, you just got to get on the next plane. And when I had gotten there, the day before the funeral was 10 o'clock in the morning, I didn't pack anything nice. I was just, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't, I was wearing like sweats. And so literally we drove, there was a Ross Dress for Less. And I said, just get anything, I said, this is my favorite color. This is my size. And he picked out a pretty nice outfit actually, but it was like, that never happened before. It was those little exciting things like that, or when people say like people that you don't know, because you're right about people that didn't know you heavy, I'm sure aren't coming up to you at work saying, oh my God, you're so thin. It's right. Saw the weight loss. Or so, I'll be, just somebody as a side, or I'll be at I don't know, I had a physical therapist and they'll just be saying, blah, 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 because you're thin. And I'm like, oh, wow, I'm thin, so I want people to I just want to inspire people that it's a worthwhile journey to do this. If you, Randy says, when I'm at goal weight, it is so happy to pick out anything from the closet without thinking this will look bad. It's so true. And let's see, Christine's, okay, so we won't do the surgery. Yes. So Christine, this is what's great about having a group is Julie, take the recommendation from Christine and maybe have a consultation with that person, because she's saying he won't push you to surgery, but research it. Any kind of surgery is not something you want to enter in lightly, but especially something like this that's considered elective surgery. And it is very, very, very costly too, just so you know. So that's cool. So what, are you afraid of going back? Like, I know that at the beginning, I keep thinking I'm going to wake up fat, but it's been like 7 years now, and I'm pretty sure I'm not.
I guess there's a little bit of a level of fear, not a fear of going back, but I guess it does motivate me in the sense that I don't want to go back to having health problems.
Right.
And so that would be the only fear is anytime I'm tempted to kind of go off plan, I think, well, I don't want to go back to how I felt before. I felt so horrible. I mean, I was really suffering.
Right.
And I saw my parents suffer for many years with health issues due to being overweight. And I mean, they needed full-time care their last few years of their lives. And, I don't want to have that. I want to, be able to be active and have energy and be able to do things. And so I guess that's the fear, not necessarily the losing weight, but going back to the not feeling good and being sick all the time.
Right, absolutely. And I love that you have so many before pictures, because it's just, I don't, because I have like one, because they were all destroyed in an earthquake when a pipe broke. And back then, and it was 1994, we didn't really have the scanning and like that now. So I'm sorry about that, but I'm glad you have those, because, so many people that have been in the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, they get to goal weight and then they loosen the screws. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, now I deserve a treat. So I'm going to have this rich dessert, or I'm going to have this glass of wine, or I'm going to put nuts back in. And I've seen them do that, and the results have been disastrous in that they get either back in the pleasure trap and have a difficult time crawling out, or they gain weight back very quickly. Even if they're eating healthy foods to the right of the red line, now they're having tahini and avocado and nuts, and these are very healthy foods. But for somebody that has been overweight, it seems to put weight on quickly. So where do you stand on this concept of abstinence, which is one of my favorite words?
So I really believe in abstinence. I very, very rarely make exceptions, like maybe once a month exceptions on things. But I mean, I really believe that your food tastes good because this is what you eat. My tastes have changed. If I go back and let myself eat these other things, you develop a taste for them again and you start craving them again. And all you think about is, when is the next time you can have it? And so right now I feel like I've got that calm brain that we kind of talk about, where I can walk by something at work and I really don't even look at it. I mean, it just doesn't even affect me anymore because it's just not something I eat.
That's great. That is so great. You're so right. You reignite those, I think cravings. They say there's a saying, out of the mouth of babes oftentimes come gems. And I learned so much from, the 10 or so years that I was a guest presenter at True North from Dr. Goldhammer's son, who's I think in his low 30s now. His name is Gar, and he was raised eating the same diet that we're on, not because he was overweight or a food addict, because that's how Dr. Goldhammer eats. The only exception would be he can eat the higher fat plant food. But I remember we were doing a cooking demo between lunch and dinner. Dr. Goldhammer really does not like when we would sample. We did, but he doesn't like feeding people outside of meal times. And so we made these, pumpkin raisin muffins. Not a big deal. A little bit of dates, a little bit of raisins, but no flour, no sugar, no oil, no salt. And so Gar was in there working. It was now like 4:00. And dinner was going to be at 5:00. And so we offered him one. And, he looked in, I said, would you like this? And he kind of looked, and I said, well, you can have it. And he goes, no, because then I'm not going to enjoy my dinner.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, this is a kid who was told that, if he was a good boy, he would get Brussels sprouts, and he eats the same way we do. He eats this huge salad first. And I agree with you that it's not even so much that you can maybe get away with these exceptions, because you can, just like you could get away with going back to Weight Watchers and weighing and measuring your food. But how happy are you going to be when it's banging on your brain because you had, the peanut butter, and now you keep thinking of when you're going to have it again? That happens to me all the time. Not all the time, but I'll make something that's technically compliant. Like I made this carrot cake when Toby and his wife were visiting. It was her birthday. And it's basically the cram muffins with a sweet potato frosting. It had some dates and stuff. So it's not anything horrible. There were no nuts in it or anything like that, no fat, but it was delicious and it was beautiful and it was a cake. And I was able to moderate it and I didn't gain any weight, but it's like every single day I woke up thinking, when am I going to get to have cake again? And I don't like feeling like that. I don't feel that way about vegetables and potatoes, because I know I can have those as much as I want whenever I want. Oh, this is a great question from Maria. How do you deal with situations like holidays and dinners with friends and family?
Pre-planning is a really big deal for me. So I always pre-eat before I go to any kind of special occasion or get together. I make sure I've had a pound of veggies before I go, and maybe even a little bit of my starch before I go. A lot of times now I just take my own food. People don't really care what you're eating. Once you get over that initial time of bringing your own food, people don't care. I've gone to weddings and I've taken my own food. I've got it in a little 3-cup Tupperware container, and I go and get one of the plates that they have at the serving table, and I just dump my little container on there of my food, and I just put it under the table. No one cares. No one has ever said anything to me. And that's what you have to do, because you want to be full, you want to be satisfied, you don't want to feel like you're missing out. So just pre-eat, pre-plan, bring your food with you. If I go to a potluck, I take at least one, sometimes two different big servings of something that I can eat. And I make sure when it's time to eat that I'm first in line, because people will eat my stuff and then there isn't any. If I'm at the end of the line, I don't get it. So I eat the compliant stuff first. I get in line first. I get it. I leave the rich stuff for them. So more for them than that.
And you're a woman after my own heart. I've bought my own food to weddings, bar mitzvahs, funerals, and like you say, most people don't even notice. And the few that have noticed said, "Oh my God, that looks so good. Can I get that?" And I'm like, "Well, no, because I brought it."
Yeah.
Jane would like to know, how often do you get on a scale?
Usually about 3 times a month or so. I still do kind of weigh myself occasionally. And
okay,
I did, when I started doing this, I did take a 30-day challenge to not weigh myself. And that really, it was huge to me, because it was almost like a physical addiction to not weigh yourself. I physically felt this craving to get on the scale. It was really strange.
I had the same thing. I had to work with Dr. Lyle, and I had to go 3 months without it. And my husband hide it, because it was like, and it's more like he said, it was more an obsession, like an OCD thing. And the truth is I weigh the same whether I weigh myself or don't.
Right.
It is such a bizarre thing. And maybe we'll get Dr. Lyle to talk about that next month. Okay, let's see. From Randy, if you do get a craving, Beth, do you have things you say to yourself?
Oh, yeah. So one time I was on the way to the store to get some ice cream, and I kept hearing Chef AJ saying, abstinence is bliss.
Oh, that's great. We should.
So I turned around and came home.
If anybody out there is like an inventor, I have these little pens that I sometimes show that say, no, no, no. Somebody should invent a keychain with all my sayings on their voice, so that if they put the key in the car in the ignition and turn it, I will start saying all these mantras like, hey, I thought that's great. Julie wants to know, which recipes are your go-to meals?
Oh, wow. So, I eat a lot of sweet potatoes, and I just slow roast them, and I eat them with pumpkin pie spice or cinnamon on top. That's the simplest thing. Another simple thing is brown rice with pinto beans and pico de gallo. Super simple. Another thing I really love is the roasted veggies and the Breville. That really fills you up. And then a lot of times I'll have like some squash after that. Like I've got the delicata squash. I've got this other little carnival squash back here.
Delicious. Great. That's great. Julie wants to know, what recipes are your did I just ask that? Am I like losing my mind? No. Which recipes are your go-to meals? I just asked about a craving. Yeah.
Oh, no, I think that was the go-to meals, wasn't it?
I said, if you get sorry guys, it's dinner time.
Yeah.
Go-to meals. Okay. Okay. I need starch. Andrea says it's a wonderful session. Beth is inspiring, and I agree. Chef AJ eats so much. That's true. I have found that the smaller the person, the more they eat, if they're eating in accordance with calorie density. The thoughts of that are overwhelming sometimes. Could Beth write down what she eats in the approximate amounts on Facebook when she has time?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. So we talked about how you deal with situations, holidays, friends, and families. Joe says, any tips for surviving potluck meals in a spiritual community? I don't want to avoid them because I need the spiritual food, but sometimes struggle with certain foods in that environment. I typically stay away from the meat and dairy, but the nuts get my attention, or other foods that are plants but have oil.
Well, again, that goes with pre-eating before you go, taking food with you. Remember, the reason you're there is to spend time with your friends and to enjoy their company. And just keep telling yourselves things. Hunger is not an emergency, like we were talking about, things you might say to yourself. Or abstinence is bliss. Trust the process. Things like that to kind of keep yourself going. And then, maybe just get a beverage and have something in your hand. So that while you're visiting with people, you look like you're doing something. But yeah, just remember, you're there to visit with them. You're not there for the food. There's more food at home. when you get home, there's something compliant for you. And a lot of times what I do is before I leave, I'll make myself a compliant dessert of some kind, like muffin or little fruit cobbler. I make an individual fruit cobbler. I'll have that in the fridge. So if I'm at the get together and something's tempting, I think, okay, if I make it through this get together, I've got that fruit cobbler when I get home. And just knowing I've got something to look forward to really helps me.
That's really a great idea. Or have it even in your car. I've always, we talk about pimping it, PIMP, potato in my purse. I have always got a sweet potato with me. And, Dr. Michael Roizen, who spoke at the Vegas conference, who I interviewed for the Real Truth About Weight Loss Summit, always talked about having something in both hands.
Yeah.
He drinks coffee. I don't recommend that, but he'll say, oh my God, Bailey's touching the computer. He'll have like a cup of coffee in one hand and a glass of water in the other. So he can't he can't really get food or something like that. So that's a great one. Vicki says, do you roast or air fry your veggies in the Breville?
So I do them on the roast setting, and I do them at 400 for about 25 minutes. I do them in the fry basket that comes, but I put a Silpat mat on top of it. And I put all the veggies on top, and I put it on the middle rack about halfway up. And that seems to do them just about perfect for me. And for roasted veggies, my favorite is zucchini with mushrooms and the little sweet peppers and then some tomatoes. And I season it really heavily with a lot of onion and garlic powder and some of that Kirkland no salt seasoning. And to me, it reminds me, that Kirkland no salt seasoning and all the extra spices, it reminds me of that old thing of a steak dinner. Just that real peppery flavor. And I don't know, I just really find it very satisfying.
Yeah, it's really good. That's really good. So Jan says, I love how genuine and real Beth is. Well, that's great, Jan, because you're going to be one of these interviews pretty soon, because Jan is like amazing how much weight she's losing and how she's just rocking it. And, by the way, to be a success story, you don't have to be down to your goal weight. You just have to be on the journey and have something to say about it. So Jan, get ready for your close-up one of these days. And if any of you are interested in being interviewed as a success story or even for live coaching during a session, please let the moderators, lovely moderators, Zena and Beth, know. And hopefully Zena's not as scared to do this now because Beth went first. So you'll see that I don't bite. So
we want to hear Zena. Yeah,
absolutely. She's got a great story. And again, with her too, so many people, I think I've had one person in their 30s who was a model and one person in their 20s who was an actress. But most people that I work with are 40s, 50s, even beyond 60s, 70s, once in their 90s. And because like you mentioned, you also had a health challenge. You had migraines. Zena was on a ton of medicines. When you have that as I think I don't want to say it's better because again, I don't wish any disease on any person, but because of that, when you do it for health, the weight loss becomes a side effect. And if we start really, I understand we want to look good in the world and in our clothes and feel good about ourselves. But if we really think about this, not as a quick fix, I always say it's not a get thin quick scheme like most of these diets. You can definitely go keto. I don't recommend it to mortgage your health, but there are ways to lose weight very quickly. Low carb diet, you will lose weight very quickly. Weighing and measuring, you will lose weight very quickly. But as Beth mentioned in the beginning, her experience was you will be very hungry. And this is the only way I know to lose weight with a full plate. And you get to keep eating that much food. So that's really cool. Zena says, I'm still terrified. Again, she's fabulous. Okay, well, Zena, we can do like, how they do those shows where like the whistleblower says like, that how he caught the person. We can have Zena like this so that she doesn't have to show it. Cindy's saying thanks, both of you. So I guess what I want to ask you, and I asked this to all the experts that were doctors on The Real Truth About Weight Loss, what would you say to somebody who's given up hope that they could ever lose weight?
Well, I feel like that's where I was at the last time I did Weight Watchers. I felt like I had totally given up. Nothing was going to work anymore. And I, just going to have to get used to being heavy. And so, I really feel it's never too late. Just got to follow the program, trust the process, be patient. It's not fast, but it will work. You just got to work the plan the way that it's written.
Absolutely. Honeybee says, that's a cute name, Honeybee. I am 70, doing this for health. I had stage 3 cancer and congestive heart failure. So far, I've lost 41 pounds and couldn't be more thrilled. Only 10 pounds to go away. I love you, Chef A. I love this story. So again, guys, get in touch with me about being a success story. People want to hear these stories because, I mean, it's great to interview doctors because they have such knowledge, but most of them have never been overweight. They haven't struggled the way we have. So that would be so cool. I just want to bring Bailey on just for a second because she is going to be 8 years old tomorrow. It's her birthday, so I just want to say hello. She wants to say hello to all of you. And I want to tell you guys, I really appreciate you being here on Wednesdays. I love these weekly interactions. To me, they're inspiring and interesting. And some of you that are also in Ultimate Weight Loss know that at midnight on September 30th, I'm going to be gone from Facebook. So this is just going to be my jam, and I love it. You are just, you really, I hope I didn't hurt your feelings when I said you look dowdy in those pictures.
No, I know I do.
But I want to say, like my talk was from fat vegan to skinny bitch. I'm going to say yours is from dowdy to lovely. I mean, just you have such I mean, just especially since you got your haircut, I think like Audrey Hepburn, just such classic elegance now. I mean, I just want you to know how great. I mean, you're a great person. You always were, but you look so beautiful. You just got to know that and just be proud of what you did because I know you're inspiring so many people. Like you mentioned, your friends and now people in this group. Because I think you guys can do it. I really do believe success can be all of yours, and that's why we're here. And so little Bailey has to lose 2 pounds herself because she got a little bit fat. So we're going to have a Feel Fabulous for dogs. So this was so great. I really enjoyed talking to you. Everybody's thanking you for sharing the story. And we'll see you guys next week. Who's next week? We're hoping to get Dr. Varesh back. She had a family medical emergency, not for her. Any last thoughts? It's almost 6. Any closing thoughts you want to say to people or anything?
Like we just said a minute ago, don't give up in yourself because it can happen for you. No matter what health problems you're having or how long you've been overweight, you can do this. You just need to go back to the basics. Like Chef AJ says, the people who are most successful are the people who execute the basics the best.
That's right. People that are successful execute the basics better than anyone else. That's it. Go back to the fundamentals. All right. Joe says, I needed this motivational boost tonight. Well, we're going to do it once a month. Motivation every month. So Roz says, Beth is always so gracious and encouraging. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. So, and you are too, Roz, by the way. Yeah. So we love you too. She's a very kind. We get so many kind people. We seem to attract a good bunch. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much, Beth. And we will see you guys next week. So take care and eat your greens. Bye, everybody.